The year was 2421. The peace between Earth and the planet Lythera was still young, fragile as starlight over glass. For centuries, Lytherans had seen humans as crude, emotional beings driven by impulse rather than harmony. But treaties needed sacrifices, and the price of peace was often personal. In the crystalline city of Seraph, under its twin suns, Princess Chilera Lythera stood trial before the Council of Light. Her crime was not murder or treason, but love. She had defied an arranged bonding with a noble and chosen a lower caste artist. In Lytheran law, that was unforgivable. To preserve royal dignity without public execution, the council issued a cruel sentence. "She shall be bound to a human male of earth," the elder declared. "Let her see how emotion destroys those who worship it." Chilera didn't plead. She bowed her head, her silver hair glowing faintly under the council's blue fire. "If that is your justice," she said softly, "then let it be the one that ends with peace." A month later, a human delegation arrived. Among them was Commander Orion Hale, chosen not by rank but by circumstance. He had fought in the Lytheran War 5 years earlier and was considered the only human who spared an enemy fleet instead of annihilating it. That act of mercy made him an ideal symbol for unity. He had no wish to marry anyone, least of all a being who saw humans as punishment. When Chilera first saw him, standing on the landing platform in his Grey Earth Alliance uniform, she felt a flicker of something unspoken. His presence was quiet, not proud. His aura, a term her kind used for emotional resonance, was dim yet steady, like a moon resisting the dark. "I am Chilera of Lythera," she said with diplomatic grace. "Condemned to you." Orion's jaw tensed. "And I am Orion Hale, condemned with you." Their union was held beneath the Starhole Dome, where diplomats from both species watched in silence. A Lytheran priest bound their wrists with silver light, reciting the vow, "May your heart speak where your tongues cannot. May your souls burn brighter than stars, or be extinguished trying." Chilera's eyes met his only once during the ritual. Her expression was calm, but her light dimmed, a sign of suppressed emotion. Humans didn't notice it, but Orion did. He had studied Lytheran culture for years, fascinated by their beauty and restraint. The ceremony ended. The peace treaty strengthened. Two strangers were joined by politics, not choice. Their assigned home was a glass-like dwelling on the outskirts of Seraph, overlooking the Sea of Dusk. The horizon there shimmered endlessly, reflecting the colors of two suns. For weeks, they lived in silence. Chilera spent hours meditating near the water, trying to suppress the chaos inside her. Orion repaired old communication drones, anything to avoid speaking. Yet, in those silences, he noticed her hands trembling when she thought no one saw. One night, a storm swept across the sea, electric winds dancing like auroras. The power grid failed, and their home went dark. Chilera sat alone, shivering from the energy surges that interfered with her biolight. Humans could withstand such storms. Lytherans couldn't. Orion found her collapsed near the terrace, skin flickering faintly. Without hesitation, he touched her, his bare hand pressing against her arm, grounding the current. And in that instant, everything changed. Chilera gasped, eyes widening. His touch sent warmth through her veins, not pain, but life. For the first time since her sentencing, she felt her light respond. The starfire within her, the energy that connected all Lytherans, flared. "What are you doing?" she whispered. "Keeping you alive," he said simply. She stared at their hands. "No human as ever," her voice broke. "Your energy, it's resonating." He frowned. "Resonating." "Your touch, it woke the stars inside me." From that moment, the silence between them shifted. Orion found her waiting near his workspace, asking about Earth, its oceans, its night skies, the way humans dreamed. He listened as she spoke of Lythera's cities of crystal and light, of how their people feared emotion because it burned too brightly. One evening, she confessed, when a Lytheran feels too deeply, their light becomes unstable. We call it the shattering. It can consume us. He smiled faintly. On Earth, we call it being human. She laughed, a sound like rain against glass, and for the first time, her glow brightened. As days turned into weeks, Sereth began to whisper. The condemned princess smiles again. They said, the human must have bewitched her. But it wasn't witchcraft. It was something older than either of their worlds. Kylera found herself drawn to him, the way he looked at the stars as though remembering someone lost, the quiet patience in his gestures. He never treated her as fragile, never bowed before her royalty. He saw her not as a symbol, but as a person. One night, as the suns dipped below the horizon, she asked him, why did you spare our fleet during the war? He hesitated. Because I saw a Lytheran child crying inside one of the escape pods. I couldn't destroy what still felt human. She looked away. You lost your people's trust for that. He nodded. Some things are worth losing. Then she reached for his hand. Then you understand what I did, she whispered. Why I defied the council. He turned to her, and for a heartbeat, they were no longer human and alien, just two souls exiled by their own kinds. That night, she touched his face. A Lytheran's skin glows brighter with emotional contact. As her fingers brushed his cheek, the room filled with shimmering light, reflections of galaxies twisting in the air. He whispered, You're beautiful. She smiled. No, you just make me remember what that means. They fell into each other like two halves of the same forgotten star, and in their joining, her light did not shatter, it bloomed. But peace never lasts long in worlds ruled by fear. The council learned of her restored light and declared it unnatural. No human can awaken a Lytheran's essence, they warned. He has corrupted her purity. Soldiers came for them at dawn. Kylera stood before them, her hands glowing like twin suns. You condemn me to him, she said fiercely, and yet his touch gave me life. If that is corruption, then perhaps your light was never pure. Orion stood beside her, unarmed. The council threatened exile, then death. Kylera turned to him, tears of light in her eyes. If they end me now, promise you'll remember what you awakened. He gripped her hand. If you fade, I fade with you. And then something extraordinary happened. The stars above Sereth laid, the twin suns dimmed, and the entire sky shimmered with thousands of points of living light, echoing her pulse. Her people fell silent, witnessing what they called impossible, a Lytheran whose love didn't destroy her but merged with a human soul to ignite the heavens. The elders bowed, humbled. The stars inside her have awakened, one whispered. Perhaps this is not punishment, but prophecy. The decree was lifted. The bond between human and Lytheran became sacred. Years later, Kylera and Orion stood again by the Sea of Dusk. She rested her head against his shoulder. They condemned me to you, she said softly, but you were the only one who ever set me free. He smiled, brushing her glowing hair aside. Then maybe the universe knew what it was doing after all. Above them, the stars burned brighter, alive, awake, and endless.